All right, people. So FPL news. We're back again, and I had a very successful week myself. Not to blow my own trumpet, I am making up the numbers, but I'm doing good. And the other lads, obviously, they're doing all right as well. So, lads, FPL tips for game week 2. Game week 3, should I say? Sorry, because game week 2 has passed. I'm going to start off myself very quickly. I put Reece James in my side. I have also inputted, who was it? Oh, Wilf Zaha. So I've got Zaha and James going through the fixtures. I think, obviously, Chelsea, West Brom, I fancy Reece James to play and get a clean sheet and maybe a few assists. And Zaha against Everton coming up, I think there's going to be a few goals in that game, so he'll facilitate quite a bit. What are your views, lads, on this upcoming week?
Well, I'm seeing a lot on social media this week of people wildcarding already. Lots and lots of people playing the wildcard, which I'm pretty sure Reece will agree with me on this one, is ludicrous. Because the wildcard, as most people will know, you get 2 of them every year, one up until the new year, one in the second half of the season. And they're kind of designed for, should we say, emergency situations. So sort of when your team looks all at sea, that nobody's really scoring points, or you've got the wrong people in, lots of injuries, suspensions, etc. For me, you need to have at least half of your side that's in trouble to consider using a wild card. Now, the amount of people that are using it this week and even last week, I find baffling. I put something on our Twitter page basically saying something on the lines of, if you've got 2 or 3 players in your side that you're not happy with, what you kind of want to look at doing is you can either make one transfer and take a -4 and switch 2, or don't make a sub 1 week, you've got 2 the next week, and then change 2 for free and make a third one for -4. Yeah. In the space of 2 weeks, you can make 3 transfers with just a -4. For me, a wild card, there's so much football to play. We've barely got started, and you always have this kind of crazy takeoff in the first couple of weeks of FPL. New teams, people are scoring all over the place. It'll settle. Take my advice, it'll settle. Now, for my transfers this week, I have brought in Kevin De Bruyne. I've given Bruno Fernandes the hook. After seeing United's performance at Palace, they were way off the pace. Way off the pace. They didn't seem to have the minutes, didn't seem to have anything about them. They will get up to speed, but for me, Brighton are looking good, so I'm not taking that risk. I've brought in Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's one of the, shall we say, the most consistent point scorers in FPL and big point scorers. So he was my change this week, who I've brought in. And I think City are home to Leicester.
Yes.
Leicester obviously decent side, but I can see De Bruyne getting more points there, at least I hope. And for my captaincy, I've stuck with Timo Werner. They're against West Brom.
Yeah, good job.
He's looked sharp. And I don't think a lot of people are going to go with Timo Werner. I think they're going to go with City players, maybe like Son, Kane, and Rodriguez perhaps. But I'm putting my neck on the line. I'm hoping Timo against a poor West Brom side is gonna get a couple of goals.
Yeah, well, with regards to my transfers this week, it's more of a I'm just plugging gaps at the moment. I'm trying not to use a wild card for the reasons that I agree with. You shouldn't only try and use it for emergency situations. Me, I'm trying to save my wild card for when Gareth Bale is fit and the end of the transfer window. Obviously, teams can still make moves. There might be unpredictable signings. So you might need to shift money around to try and get people in and things like that. So, and there's an international break coming as well around that time. So, you will need to make 4 or 5 signings before you know it very, very quickly, and that turns into -4, -8 points. For me, I have taken out a defender, and I've put in Jimmy Dunn. He plays for Burnley, and go with me here. He plays for Burnley, and he's 4 million. So he's one of the few £4 million defenders, and he is in the Burnley starting lineup just due to injuries and things. Whether he stays there, it was going to depend on his performances, but he was good against Leicester. So I put him in, trying to sort of, like I said, plug some gaps. And I'm between Son and Salah. Now, Son is at home to Newcastle. and he just on the back of a 4 goals in a game, which is massive. But then Salah, on the other hand, is a massive big game player. So it will be interesting to see. But I have stuck with Son. That could change by the time the weekend starts, though, people.
Yeah.
All right, lads. Any other advice should I say that you want to give before we go?
I would say load up your team with Spurs players over the next few weeks. Create money, move money around just slightly, and have Spurs in the back of your mind, whether you've got Son now or you want to have him in a few weeks' time. You've got Gareth Bale's going to come back. That means that Kane is going to start scoring. Son is going to have more chances. You've got Reguilon, who they just signed as well. So definitely there's going to be more opportunities for Spurs. Spurs are going to be attacking more. How they're going to be defensively, we don't know. They may be signing Skriniar from Inter, so have a look at that one as well. But I think Spurs are the team to watch at the moment.
Yeah. Bruce kind of hit the nail on the head there. He also touched upon in his last comments about the transfer window not being done yet, and there could be a few big moves yet to come. You just don't want to be that person that plays a wild card. A few transfers happen, big transfers, and then you're looking at these players like Bale. There's the whole Sancho saga, might have come to nothing. But if someone like him was to come to the Premier League, you're looking at some of these players and thinking, wish I'd kept my wild card. So there's lots more business to come. And you might have a lot of movers and shakers in your side. So just hold tight on them at the moment.
Cool. Yeah. Anybody with any questions, obviously, get in touch with us via IG, get in touch with us via Twitter. Again, if you're watching this and you want FPL content or football content in general, like, subscribe, do all that. Get in the comments. I will get you to the top of the league.